How can we settle for less when so much has been given? How can we look on a situation and work it out in our minds that it cannot be done? How can we take in words of what people say and tell us who we are and how our life ought to be? How can we sit there and do nothing? How can we be in those situations and yet the Father has said that I will provide, that He has made a way for you? How can you accept anything less than what the Father says? I can't understand it. I can't figure it out. And the more I'm seeing it, the more I'm realizing that it's words. Words have been spoken. It's a messing around of words around what the Bible says, around what an established fact is saying. And it's an opinion, and most of the opinions are based on emotional stuff that people have not dealt with. But how can we continue in a path that brings no success, that brings about happiness, unhappiness? How can we continue doing the stuff that doesn't give us any fulfillment? What is wrong with us? What is this? How can you change the situation? It's facts before you. It's look at your situation. There's nothing you can do to change what has happened. How can you continue with that thinking, with those thoughts that tell you different, that cause you to move along lines of traditional thinking, of cultural thinking? How can you continue in that? I'll tell you why. Because the opinions of people have mattered more than the opinions of or the facts of the Bible, or the facts of things that where people have made it their life's duty to find out what life is all about, where they've laid their lives on the line and they just decided to make life a study and discovered that through heartache and discovered that through a whole lot of situations. And yeah, you come faced with all these facts and yet you don't make a decision to change. It's hard out there. It's difficult. I'm aware of it. I'm not being unrealistic. I know that you're hurting. I know that you're going through a tough time. I know about emotional pain. I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to have something. I know what it's like when finance is coming and it changes your behavior and causes you to act in a different way. Because all of a sudden you were sad and miserable with the people around you, but all of a sudden you get a deposit and all of a sudden your personality changes, everything changes. But the thing what has changed you is a deposit, and it's not really helping you. How can you continue allowing outside forces to affect who you are when you were made for more, when you can do more? Can't you just lift your head up and look at the situation? Can't you just look at your circumstances around you and realize that there's time for change? Can't you just make a decision to come out of the mess that you are creating in your mind, because you are stuck in that situation because of your thoughts? You are stuck in the situation because of what people have said. There's the emotional turmoil that is crippling you every single day. How can you continue another day with that? You listen to a good sermon, you listen to a good motivation, you read something, you see something, and it motivates you, and you know you can and you need to, but you don't. You struggle with new learnings, but you're not making any progress. You're not making any. The situation seems to be getting worse and worse, but you're not moving. You're blaming it on circumstances, you're blaming it on your past, you're blaming it on society, you're blaming it on the government, you're blaming it on every single person or thing or situation out there except yourself. You're not taking responsibility. Because when you take responsibility for your life, you can make changes. You can accept the situation the way it is. You need to embrace where you are, because in order for you to go somewhere else, you need to embrace where you are. And it's not getting another job, it's not getting a new partner, it's not getting trying to sort out the situation in a different manner. No, it's facing up to the situation. It's time to face up to what you're going through. How can you continue another day when there are facts? How can you continue when the Father said that He will provide? How can you continue when the Father said He's never left you nor forsaken you? How is that different? How is that different from what He's saying and what people are saying? Is it more because it's tangible out here, that you can see the people, that you can hear them talk, that you take and you value their opinions more than the opinions, or more than the thoughts and the dreams and the potential that you have, that you value? You've created a culture of valuing what other people are saying. People make a decision and they say this, and especially those who are in positions of influence, they speak as though they are the ultimate voice in your life. And they tell you what you ought to do and where you ought to go to. And I was looking at the quotation of Harriet Tubman. She said she could have freed more slaves if she could convince them that they were slaves. The problem is people were not convinced that they're enslaved. The problem right now, the reason why you're doing the same thing over and over, because you have become a slave to the situation around you. You react to situations rather than finding out, what is it? What is going on in my life? How can I change my life? Why is the situation not changing? Is there something I need to learn from the situation? Because if you don't learn from the situation, it's going to return. What is it? What is going on in your life? What is going on in your situation? What is going on in your relationships? What is going on in your workplace? What is going on in your university, your college, your school? Is it really those organizations, or is it really happening inside of you? What is going on inside of you? What is hurting you? What has been hurting you for the past couple of days that seems to weigh heavily upon you, and in a storm or a situation that hits you causes it to seem like there's no way out? What's going on with you? What's going on inside of you? What thoughts are you thinking? What are you not letting go? You're holding on to something. Why are you holding on to it? It's time to let go. It's time to let go. You deserve better. You know you need better. You know what you ought to do, but you don't do it. Why don't you? Learn to let go.